Hello, thanks for joining me for today's update on the conflict in Ukraine. I'll be covering the tactical to operational ground situation and then touch on some of the theater-wide effects that we're seeing in all domains. I'll start in the Donetsk Oblast, which I would assess as the Russian main effort, followed by the number 2, which is up north in the Luhansk Oblast, then along the northern border with Ukraine to the Kharkov Oblast, and finally we'll move west to discuss the Ukraine force counteroffensive into the Russian Kursk Oblast. In the Donetsk Oblast, Russian forces have advanced through Kalinivka and started to penetrate the northeast periphery of Chasiv Yar, and have also entered a neighborhood of an eastern housing division in Chasiv Yar. Then southeast of Chasiv Yar, you can see a line of Ukrainian counteroffensive extending south to Zenopilia. Russian forces have also made marginal gains just east of Toretsk and southeast, where they have entered a housing division down there. Toretsk has been battered and beaten over the past month. Russian artillery has pounded this major coal-producing town of Donetsk. Then immediately south of Toretsk, you can see a small pocket of resistance that looks like a Ukrainian counteroffensive in the small settlement of New York. That looks to be a desperate battle, so I'll have to look into that one more. South at Pokrovsk, Russian forces have advanced but have not made any confirmed territorial gains since the last update. At Selidov, southeast of Pokrovsk, Russian forces are attempting to encircle Ukrainian forces and the small settlement there. You can see a similar occurrence southeast of Selidov at Ukrainsk. Then all the way south and west, there is a sizable Ukrainian counteroffensive in vicinity of Velika Novosilka. They do not want this town to be taken. Russian forces continue to advance and have made gains along the Osikova River into the town of Maximilianivka. That town runs parallel to the river, and you can see a tiny pocket of significant resistance there from Ukrainian forces. This is part of the Russian force movement to build the southern flank for their approach into Pokrovsk. Since the last update, it doesn't appear that Russian forces are using the H-15, but rather conducting a frontal assault and fighting their way into Kharkov. Now let's move up north to the Kharkiv region for a look at the Ukrainian defense of Lipsy. As you can see, Ukrainian forces are holding on to the land northeast of Lipsy. They are holding tightly, which is good to see. It'll be interesting to see if they can push back this Russian line of advance in the days to come. And along the eastern portion of this contested area, Russian forces have advanced further into Voichansk. There appears to be intense resistance northeast of Voichansk with good containment in the settlement of Taiki. Now up to the Russian Kursk Oblast, where Ukrainian forces are conducting a major counteroffensive. Over the past 72 to 96 hours, Russian forces have conducted counterattacks to repel Ukrainian forces in vicinity of Koronevo. Ukrainian forces are persistent in this area around Koronevo, yet Russian forces continue to dominate in the control of the surrounding area to the south and east. ISW reports that Ukrainian forces are targeting Russian ground lines of communications in the near-rear areas within the Kursk Oblast, and Ukrainian drone strikes are continuing to destroy Russian pontoon bridges across the Seim River in the Glushkovskiy Raion. Finally, for some geopolitical commentary, ISW reports that Kremlin officials are likely trying to shape international peace mediation efforts concerning the war in Ukraine, while demonstrating Russia's unwillingness to engage in good faith negotiations with Ukraine. Okay, so this is good, right? So let's see if there's any engagement from Western officials. I feel that this is an opportunity to start some sort of dialogue with Russia, which is indeed the responsible thing to do. I fully support the Western aid to the defense of Ukraine, but that doesn't mean that we have zero dialogue with Russia. I mean, it's not the defense of Ukraine at all costs. No, there is a calculus that places the defense of the Western Hemisphere above that of Ukraine. Now, before I get blasted, deterrence is a good model for early active defense, but if a dialogue with an adversary is possible, then by all means that course of action should be followed. I mean, isn't peace the ultimate goal here? That can't be achieved if we continue to ratchet things up. And a good start would be to suspend the delivery of long-range ballistic missiles to Ukraine, just for the time being, see where that leads. I mean, let's give diplomacy a chance again and see if we can't build some off-ramps from the standard escalatory responses. Okay, I think that I'll end this update and close with a message, and that message is we want off-ramps, not escalation. None of this escalate to de-escalate neocon mentality, because it isn't working now, and it's going to take us all in the wrong direction very fast. So defend Ukraine, but diplomacy should be working in concert to provide off-ramps. Okay, thanks for watching today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will see you next time.
These resources are important to keep not only our own countries, but our alliance strong. This work to convince our citizens of the importance, the relevance, the intrinsic centrality of this institution with great pride. But the true way to honor the genius of their compact is to make it ever stronger and to recommit to our principles of deterrence, democracy, and collective defense.